we got some beef coming out of the West Coast. So this really famous comedian, Duno, is currently beefing or at odds with some West Coast podcasters called The Viral Way. Now, their beef actually stems off the back of another beef that we previously covered this week. Duno crashed out on Viral Way on his podcast earlier today because he's seen some comments that Viral Way made earlier this week about the Hispanic community and their role in hip-hop.
Hey, check this out, cuz. Hip-hop is our culture, period. If you a guest, shut the up and enjoy being a guest. So whoever said that on that podcast, them straight up. Yeah, ain't no tap dancing, ain't no nothing. Them, period. Get them out the culture. Stop covering our culture. Cover your mother culture if you feel that way. Because you not holding yourself back, right? Your people not holding you back. So go do podcasts about your culture. Go do podcasts about Hispanic music. Go do Hispanic music where y'all not holding each other back. If this the way you feel. Because really that was just some undertone racist. Really you just said this is what it is. You see Kendrick, number one, Jay-Z, Nas, then you looking up there like, damn, who's a Hispanic Jay?
This passionate rant about Hispanics and their role in hip-hop isn't directed at Duno. It's directed at the Hater Worlds podcast, all right? And here's the thing. It's a black guy who came on the Hater Worlds podcast and said something that really pissed them off, that Hater World, I guess, co-signed. But the dude is black. He's dark-skinned. He looks like me. However, because he's from a Hispanic gang, he considers himself a Latino. So he came on the Haters World podcast and they talked about how black people in hip hop only allow Latinos and Hispanic artists to reach a certain limit and they don't really push them to the absolute top. And they actually hold them back.
Go on and on, right? Mm-hmm. It's been competitive. It's never been unity. It's like there can only be like a certain amount winning, it feels like, in hip hop. Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I do believe, but yeah, I do, but I ain't gonna lie. You know what's the problem is? Like, okay, look.
Like, name one time in hip hop where it was unity. Never. Not even with the greats. It's just like, it's just one of those games.
But like, as far as like the blacks too, like the brothers,
just everything.
There's a lot of unity right now with the blacks and
I was
Mexicans.
about to say, cause yeah now, but they gotta like. I don't know, like, I ain't even gonna say too much.
Oh, man.
Like, I was finna, you know. Like, I feel like they shouldn't, like, put a limit to how far a homie should go.
That's what they're doing now.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though, with who, though?
I'm not gonna lie, you know who they, okay.
You saying between the blacks and the Mexicans?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like the blacks will let you win, but only up to where they want to.
To a certain extent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
That's what Viral Way was reacting to. Now, Duno took notice of the back and forth between Viral Way and Hater World, and Duno decided that he was going to give his opinion on the situation. Now, Duno comments on the situation was very controversial. Some people is riding with Duno. Others is saying Duno has lost his mind. So we're going to talk about it. Now, Duno started off by essentially telling Viral Way that they need drama to podcast, and they can't podcast without drama. And essentially, if they're going to only podcast when there's drama, they should stop podcasting.
Come in. What did y'all see, or what is the whole take on that?
Man, I don't be watching old ass fools go back and forth about hip hop. That shit is so I'll play for. This is my thing. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about this. The reason a lot of y'all podcasts is never gonna go nowhere, because y'all stuck in this fucking circle like this. The reason y'all probably never do a live show and all this shit is because y'all start talking about the same shit over and over and over and over and over. Your podcast is never gonna elevate. I get it, they both have a point of view, but it just seems like all that it's for is content. I don't think none of them really care as much as they make it seem and screaming on the mic. That shit is so outplayed, fool. I'm over that whole scene, fool. That shit is so like, don't fuck if you're a visitor, and then Haters World, which I don't. They're both going back in Hater World, like, we're only gonna let you go as far as they go. I'm like, bro, who gives people are winning, fool.
I personally consume Viral Way content for other things outside of just beefing, so I can't say all they do is talk about beef. But yo, if people is tapping in for the beef, bro, whatever works, right? From my perspective, you know, hey, bro, if the drama's selling, keep on selling it. Now, this is where Duno takes a controversial turn. Duno will say that essentially Hispanics damn near run hip hop. That without Hispanics, a lot of our big artists wouldn't exist. And that black artists or hip hop in general need the Hispanic support to keep this whole thing running.
Peso is doing amazing for himself.
Yeah.
Lefty's doing amazing for himself. Ojeezy and Santa Fe Clan are about to go on tour, fool. If you feel like, fool, you're not even a rapper. How do you know what they stopping people to do? And in the viral way, like if you're visitors, then you half these rappers, half these black rappers in LA wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for us. So are we visitors or are we putting money in your pocket? So which ones are we, fool? Because if all of us were to stop listening to your music, there would be no fucking careers. There'll be nothing to visit. Because you guys wouldn't have a career. So shut the up with all that shit.
Duno, you know I love you like a brother, man. All right, you my guy, Duno. But you done lost your mind. You done lost every living cell of your mind, right, to come on that podcast and utter this take. Now, if this was strictly a LA thing, then you would have a point. If this was a conversation strictly about LA, then cool. But the conversation was extending outside of LA. It was a hip hop discussion about hip hop in general. And now, Hispanics are a big part of hip hop, right? They do support hip hop, they do contribute to the culture. So nobody is taking anything from the Hispanic contribution. But to say that hip hop in general wouldn't be able to survive, our favorite rappers wouldn't have careers without Hispanics is just false. Like, it's just not true. It's just false. Hip hop is a global expansion at this point. Hip hop exists outside of LA, outside of the United States. Hip hop exists globally. And if, let's say, you take away the Hispanic support, hip hop still got support from white folks, Asians, blacks, Native Americans. I don't believe, all right, that our favorite rappers like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, their careers ain't dying, bro, if the Hispanics stop listening to them. That's just not what's going on at all. Now, are Hispanics a big part of it? Yeah, they are. Now, if we're just talking about the U.S. population, even that's not true. Yo, hip-hop needs the support of white folks more than the support of Hispanics. White folks is 75% of the population. Hispanics is 19%. Right? So if white folks stop listening to hip-hop, it's over with. It's dead. That's if we're talking about the U.S. population alone. 60% is white, 13% is black. That's about 73%, not even counting the other categories. So just between white and black folks, 73% of the population listen to hip-hop. So if 19% says, hey, bro, we done, we're not supporting, that might hurt, but not as much as you think. But because Duno exists on the West Coast, born in LA, you sort of have the West Coast bias because on the West Coast, Hispanics run everything.
I think, so when you go to a live show for FMW, it's 10% black and 90% Mexican. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Drop a bomb.
So am I a visitor? So am I a visitor in podcasting?
Shit.
Am I a visitor in podcasting?
No.
Man, I don't want to hear that. That shit is all played, fool. All the visitors. There would be no Tupac career if it wasn't for a Latino Mexican. I'm gonna put that right now. The fool that produced a lot of his bangers was Mexican. What's his name?
Johnny Cinco. What's his name? Johnny J.
All that visitors was stopping people. Who gives a Peso, Lefty, Bravo, Jeezy? Can we? And bro, took advantage, bro. Like that shit, bro. I hate that back and forth shit. Like, seems like it's for content for at this point.
Nah.
I don't think people care like that anymore, fool. At some point, it was a conversation that was had, but at this point, fools are just screaming at the mic and just saying anything to get a reaction.
My first 2 months in LA, I learned a hard lesson about how Hispanics run the city of LA and run the culture. I ain't never seen no jumper take something down off their Instagram page by force. I ain't never seen it, okay? We reposted a video that was on other blogs, okay, of this podcaster called American Cholo. Now, other blogs reposted it, right? But for some reason, one will say it was probably motivated by clout. They decided that they was going to target No Jumper, all right? Now, this was just a repost of a montage. Now, they said the montage was edited. Again, we ain't edited, but we just reposted something that was already out there, okay? So we reposted a montage of American Cholo speaking and saying some things. So they decided the Hispanic community, they didn't like it, okay? So you know what they do? They did something that no other black person has done, okay? They routed up about 100 Hispanics, showed up at No Jumper, and demanded No Jumper delete the clip off their Instagram. And it wasn't, hey, bro, take it down, bro. This was take it down or else y'all won't have an office. And you know what happened? It got taken down. All right. Now, that was my first introduction to, okay, yeah, it's a little different out here, bro. All right. Growing up all my life, all right, being told that, gangbangers and the Crips and the Bloods, they run it. Nah, bro. You come here and you learn very quickly, bro. Hispanics is running stuff in LA. That's just how it goes. All right. Now, when Duno speaks on the podcasting scene, well, again, I've experienced it too. We had a live show. Our live show was about 95% Hispanics, 5% everybody else. The community live show was about 90% Hispanic, 10% everybody else. So when you have the majority of your audience that are all Hispanics, well, as a black person, that puts you in a tough spot because essentially now you have to choose between your audience who pays your bills or your morals. So when conversations come up about, let's say, Hispanics saying the N-word, if you are a black person who don't believe they should be saying the N-word, well, you now have to look your audience in the eyes, who, by the way, overwhelmingly agree that it doesn't matter, and you got to express that opinion. And knowing you're about to express that opinion, knowing they about to cut off your water and stop supporting you. So a lot of people, bro, choose to just acquiesce, to just get along, to not even try to ruffle the feathers or even issue their real opinion. And that's a fact. And again, I'm not saying this is for community work. I'm saying this is just something that I've witnessed with a lot of podcasts in LA. A lot of these black dudes don't really have their real opinions on camera. They know their audience is 99% Hispanic, bro, and they got to acquiesce, bro, or else they water getting turned off. That's just how it goes. If Duno would have stopped the rant there, it would have been somewhat understandable. But where Duno lost a lot of people is when he said that Tupac Shakur, arguably the greatest rapper of all time, that he wouldn't have had a career without the Hispanics. That's just blasphemy, bruh. Hey, that should be considered treason. Yo, you shouldn't be allowed. Yo, that's treason. Yo, that should be considered like a cardinal sin in hip hop, bruh. What? Now, I believe what he's referring to is like one of the producers or the producer on All Eyes on Me, who like made a lot of the beats for All Eyes on Me, was Hispanic. But bro, like Tupac was a world-class artist already. Pac had a track record of making hits without those beats. Like, bro, this is just wrong. And I think it's comments like that create support for people like Tariq Nasheed or Viral Way when they go to the extent of saying hip hop is our culture, you guys are guests, get out. Comments like that where like Hispanics believe that without them, Tupac wouldn't have a career and he'll be a nobody. It's comments like that creates a lot of support for people who are on the extreme side of things, like Viral Way or Tariq Nasheed, where they will say Hispanics are guests in the culture, they should be kicked out. Like, things like that, it's extreme. But people will support the polarizing view if the opposing view is Pac wouldn't have a career without us, right? So Viral Way would even address the Tupac statement, and here's what they had to say.
That's where I'm going to stop it now.
The Tupac? Come on.
Wait, bro.
Tupac.
Can I?
There would be no Tupac without Hispanics. Is crazy work. And even that's beyond diabolical at this point.
Wait, can I just say
no? Hold
on,
no. The Tupac shit crazy. Ever since they done came out and found out that a Hispanic has done beats for Tupac, they've been running with this narrative that Tupac wouldn't be nothing without it. Tupac would have been Tupac with or without them beats. And there was one album, All Eyes on Me, and this was never no secret. Exactly. And we never discredit any amount of production that comes from Hispanics in hip hop. But at the end of the day, Tupac made the music. Blacks supported Tupac just as much as y'all did. So that was just wild to me.
This ain't really about T-Rail. I'm actually shocked that they let Duno get this bullshit off. AD rapper in the culture, Pun in the culture, and T-Rail in the culture. Now, I could look at it two ways. They let him hang himself and they just gonna let him talk and let the culture respond, or they didn't want to lose that 90% FMW Hispanic following. Because the man literally sat there and said, yeah, come to our shows. It's 10% blacks.
There's a reason why AD has a lot of relationships in the culture. It's because AD pretty much knows how to give his real opinion in the right way to where he's not isolating or ostracizing certain people because, he's articulate, right? Like, he's articulate, he's well-spoken, he's smart. He knows how to give his opinion and actually get what he really feels across without insulting or without ostracizing or isolating certain groups. So, yeah, that may apply to AD, but I don't think that would apply to T-Rail. T-Rail is an OYN. T-Rail is an old young ninja, bro. Like, he's a crash out artist. T-Rail is a crash out artist, bro. T-Rail don't care at all about being friends with anybody, which is why I feel like AD is so needed. Because without AD, I don't feel like Community World would have any relationships left. T-Rail is gonna tell you how he feels. He's gonna let you know, and he's not gonna present it in a digestible format for you, bro. It's gonna be forceful. You're gonna have to swallow that. Pause. So I don't feel like that would apply to T-Rail. Now, the dude in the middle, he said something that I didn't really agree with, or more so, I don't feel like he should be saying it. Right? He would essentially tell Community World or AD and T-Rail that they're essentially just content reactors, and they produce original content, and they're better than Community World. Now, again, you could feel that way, yes, but I feel like Viral and Messiah should be the ones saying that, not him. And I'm going to explain why.
The fact is, what he just said, what the Torta just said was basically, we have original content, bro. That's why they are able to do the reaction off of us. We have sustainability because our shit is authentic. They shit is like kind of phasing off because they going off with another motherfucker. They don't have their own original thought for their own self. So they worry that, well, when we come out with our own opinion, they're just like, damn, they speaking their mind because they too afraid to say the shit we not.
Yeah.
And we speaking really the truth, and we speaking how we really feel about it. And how we really feel is what a lot of people are afraid to speak on.
Sure.
So now...
No, go ahead. Get your board.
No, I was going to say, so now the fact that we spending now, everybody want to jump on the bandwagon or even going against it. Now it's like, oh, let me hop on the hottest train that was popping, which is us right now. And our opinion is, nigga, it's real. From the east side to the west side, from Cali to anyway to NY, bro. We speak for a lot of people who believe in what we talking about, homie. Now you go ahead, bro.
Hey, I applaud the confidence, but this is equivalent to like the third string cornerback on the Rams telling Justin Jefferson before they play the Vikings, hey, bro, we about to hold you to 5 yards this game, bro. You ain't gonna score no points. And if you like, and if you're like a starting corner on the Rams, you're gonna tell that third string corner, bro, if you don't shut up, you're not the one that's gonna have to deal with this smoke. You're not the one that's gonna have to stop Justin Jefferson. We are the one that's gonna have to stop Justin Jefferson. We're tasked to be involved with Justin, not you. Or just like Dylan Brooks telling LeBron James, oh, I'm gonna eat your lunch. No, bro, you're not the one that's gonna be having to guard LeBron. Bro, that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Shut up. In this case, now, I don't know this brother's name. Shout out to him, though. You know, he's a dope podcaster. But, bro, you're like the third or fourth string guy there. So when you put out that smoke, when you go against, I guess, Community World like that, call them, reactive content, et cetera, yo, we the best out here. Well, it's not really we, right? Viral and Messiah, right, is who would have to say that because they're the ones that's gonna be tasked with taking on the smoke, all right? You're not gonna be the one that people are gonna go at. So you saying this to me is like, it's not really your place to say it. If it's smoke, if it's we're the best, y'all suck, then it gotta come from Viral and Messiah because they're gonna be the one who gotta really deal with the smoke, all right? If that makes sense. But nonetheless, though, man, listen, this is conversations that I feel like is needed. I particularly don't really care about who's a guest and who's not a guest, bruh. All right? I don't concern myself with that too much, but y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think about this conversation, all right? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen to find out why Shannon Sharpe is absolutely done. He's finished. After more women have came forward to accuse him of these nasty things. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. Out of here, folks. Peace.